In a small town nestled between rolling hills and sprawling fields, there lived a man named Samuel. Samuel was not particularly remarkable in appearance. He was of average height, with tousled hair and a face that bore the marks of hard work. He was a farmer, like his father before him, and his days were filled with the routine of planting, harvesting, and tending to the land. However, beneath the surface of his simple life lay a heart brimming with dreams and a spirit that refused to be constrained by the limitations of his circumstances. From a young age, Samuel had always been captivated by stories of great explorers and inventors, individuals who dared to challenge the status quo and pursue their passions against all odds. He would spend hours poring over books, his imagination ignited by tales of adventure and discovery. Yet, as he grew older, the weight of responsibility settled heavily on his shoulders. The farm needed him, and the expectations of his family loomed large. The dreams he once held so dearly began to fade into the background, overshadowed by the daily grind of life. One particularly grueling summer, as the sun blazed mercilessly over the fields, Samuel found himself at a crossroads. The crops had suffered due to an unexpected drought, and the financial strain was palpable. The townsfolk whispered among themselves, their faces etched with concern for Samuel and his family. It was during this time of despair that Samuel stumbled upon an old, dusty book in the attic of his home. The book was filled with stories of resilience and triumph, chronicling the journeys of those who had faced adversity and emerged stronger. As he read, something inside Samuel stirred. He was particularly drawn to the story of a woman named Elara, who had lived in a village much like his own. Elara had faced insurmountable odds as she sought to improve her community, battling against poverty and ignorance. Despite numerous setbacks, she never wavered in her belief that change was possible. Inspired by her tenacity, Samuel closed the book and made a decision that would alter the course of his life. He gathered the townsfolk and shared his vision, a community garden that would not only provide sustenance, but also foster a sense of unity and hope. At first, the response was lukewarm. Many were skeptical, burdened by their own struggles and the belief that they could not change their circumstances. But Samuel's passion was infectious. He spoke of the power of working together, of pooling their resources and talents for a common goal. Slowly, one by one, the townspeople began to see the potential. They rallied around Samuel, and the seeds of change were planted, both literally and metaphorically. The journey was fraught with challenges. There were days when the sun scorched the earth, and the plants withered despite their best efforts. There were nights when the cold winds swept through the valley, threatening to destroy their hard work. Yet, with every setback, Samuel reminded his fellow townsfolk of Elara's story. He encouraged them to view obstacles not as insurmountable barriers, but as opportunities for growth and learning. The community began to adopt a mindset of resilience, embracing the idea that failure was not the end, but merely a stepping stone on the path to success. As the months passed, the garden flourished, transforming from a patch of barren land into a vibrant oasis of fruits, vegetables, and flowers. The once skeptical townsfolk found joy in their labor, laughter echoing through the rows of crops as they shared stories and dreams. Samuel watched as the garden became a symbol of their collective strength, a testament to what could be achieved when they worked together with unwavering determination. One day, as they gathered for the first harvest, Samuel stood before the community, his heart swelling with pride. The fruits of their labor were not merely the vegetables they had grown, but the bonds they had forged, the lessons they had learned, and the hope they had rekindled. He spoke of the importance of mindset, of believing in the possibility of change, and of the power that lay within each of them to shape their destinies. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the garden, Samuel realized that the true victory was not just in the harvest, but in the transformation of the community. They had learned to dream again, to believe that they could rise above their circumstances and create a better future. The garden had become a sanctuary, a place where they could nurture not only plants, but also aspirations. News of their success spread beyond the town, inspiring neighboring communities to adopt similar initiatives. Samuel became a beacon of hope, sharing his story and encouraging others to embrace a mindset of resilience and collaboration. He traveled to schools and community centers, speaking passionately about the power of belief and the importance of working together toward a common goal. Years later, as Samuel looked back on that pivotal summer, he understood that the journey had been about far more than just a garden. It had been about awakening the spirit of possibility in himself and others, about fostering a mindset that embraced challenges as opportunities for growth. The lessons he had learned from Elara's story had come full circle, and he realized that motivation was not just about personal ambition but about lifting others and creating a ripple effect of change. In the end, Samuel's legacy was not defined by the size of his farm or the quantity of his harvests, but by the strength of the community he had helped to build. The garden continued to thrive, a living testament to the power of dreams, resilience, and the unwavering belief that together they could cultivate a brighter future.